Hello and welcome back to this week's Three and Out. I'm Jeremiah Davis. This is Mark Morehouse with the Cedar Rapids Gazette. Just got finished with Kirk Ferentz and players at today's media availability. And first off, first thing we wanted to talk about was this team going on the road, 8 wins in a row, and they've been very good in covering all those games. What have you seen? Is there a theme among what they've been able to do on the road?
Win. But other than that, I think that there's a focus,
right.
And I think that there is, I don't want to say the game plan is simpler on the road, because I don't think it is. I think it's pretty much the same wherever they go, but they've been able to establish themselves more on the road. Like last week at Minnesota, Iowa looked like a team, maybe for the first time this season, that looked like it knew what it wanted to be, and it established dominance over Minnesota's on both sides of the line of scrimmage in the game, and made Minnesota one-dimensional. Of course, now it comes out today that Mitch Leitner had a concussion during the game, probably during that one hit that from Brandon Snyder. I think that was in the second quarter.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think they're able to establish dominance, and kind of probably helps with concentration.
Yeah. I think one of the things Kirk mentioned today that I thought stood out was that you have to have a mature team.
The first thought that pops in my mind, last year we changed our whole practice routine, and in retrospect, it worked out really well. Also, in retrospect, one of the observations I made, and I shared this with our team this year, it worked well because we had a really mature team. They stayed, they didn't let any changes, really flap them too much. They just kept pushing forward, and they handled it really well. So I guess where I'm getting at is, to me, to win on the road, you need a team that's got some maturity. They've got to understand what you're trying to get accomplished.
And he has had that for the last couple of years. And the guys who step up on the road are their best players, and that's not a coincidence, I don't think.
Yeah, and then one thing he did point out, which I thought was kind of funny, post-game last week, he pointed out that they're only 2-0 on the road this year. He doesn't count the 7 from last year, which is pretty good.
Right.
I think it was 7. They're up to 8 now.
Yeah.
They're up to 8.
Yep.
So he doesn't count the 6 from last year. But this team knowing, you know what you want to be when your upperclassmen have a strong voice, or when your quote-unquote leaders have a strong voice, and they certainly do. I mean, you listen to Josie Jewell today, and you listen to Beathard and Desmond King.
Right.
Things seem solid there now. They moved Desmond King back to a captain's role, and things seem solid up top as far as voices go.
Absolutely. Number 2 thing, speaking of changes, the offensive line shifts worked out pretty well last week. And
they won.
Right, they won. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I got told that once, and so Kirk Ferentz,
you fixed it anyway.
But Kirk Ferentz stuck with it, is what I mean, for this week. They're going to stay with those changes. He joked that the guys had a say. They had a caucus. It's election season.
When you guys made the changes in the offensive line, the players got to say, right? They had to vote. I'm just kidding.
We called them in. Had a caucus.
Were you wondering about how maybe...
I got a red tie on too, blue shirt, red tie, political season. Ready to roll.
With Ike, I mean, that's a big move. I mean, that's a different...
I like Ike.
I'm out of I got nothing else.
That was through a question I asked about, I was joking.
Yeah,
did the offensive line have a say?
Right.
Of course they didn't. They were doing what their coaches told them to do. The biggest change there for me was Ike Butker going from right tackle to left guard. And they always talk about, all the offensive linemen always talk about, we can play any position. We're all flexible. But then the center comes up and they all go, maybe not center. but they do go with, they talk about it all the time, and then there it was.
Right.
Butker was playing left guard. He's built like a guard, kind of. He's a big dude. It worked. It worked last week. And I asked him, did he care, blah, 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 and is there some ego that goes into that? And he just said, nope, we won. And that was basically it. That's how you how you begin and end that conversation, really.
Number 3 thing.
Defensive line.
Defensive line.
We remembered this week.
There you go.
Defensive line. I thought the tackles Saturday were the best. That's the best they've played this season, all 3 as a trio.
The thing I would tell you, in my mind at least, to run the ball, it's hard, and to stop the run, it's hard. It's not really glamorous. It's you have to be tough-minded. You've got to take care of your spot, which a lot of times means, you're doing the heavy lifting, and the linebackers trot over and make a tackle, or the safeties come down and make a tackle. So it starts up front. The guys up front on both sides have to really, be willing to really be dedicated to their jobs, work at it. And then everybody else has to do their jobs too. And I'm not minimizing the jobs of those other guys because those are really important too. But it's got to be a team effort. It's got to be a team effort. And it's choreographed usually in the run game. If one guy gets out of whack, it could be a bad deal. And same thing we stopped the run better. I think I mentioned this after the game. There's only one run over, maybe I didn't, over 10 yards. It was 11. It was on 3rd and 19, so it didn't kill us. It hurt field position a little bit. But, that was big improvement from the other 5 weeks. And those long runs are they're hard to watch.
Minnesota's offensive line came in with kind of a rep. I mean, Minnesota was averaging 220 rushing yards a game.
Right.
And granted, they didn't play Ohio State and Alabama and Notre Dame from the 60s.
Right.
But they were, that was a team with a rep. It seemed like it knew what it wanted to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're going up against a team that has that kind of identity and that's what you've struggled with, maybe there's a little bit of an ego factor, right? You want to match wits.
Oh, absolutely.
They're talking about me that way. I have to match that. And when you have a bunch of proud guys going after it like that, the way they showed up was seriously impressive. And Mitch Leidner, who you mentioned had that concussion, had not been on the run like that all year.
No.
And they screwed him up. I mean, Tracy Claeys talked about it. They just whipped us up front, is what he said. And Iowa hadn't done that since Iowa State.
Right. And I thought it was across the board. Jaleel Johnson, I thought was a beast. Nathan Budgeta, he did one of these things. I've never seen him do that. I think it means truck horn.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's what it was.
I think truck horn. I'm not sure. Maybe puppetry. I don't know. But and then Faith Hackett, I also thought was fantastic. He got a key pressure on the Schneider interception. So those guys, I think. So those guys go, this defense is going to kind of go. I just think things look much more cleaner in the second level. The safeties are seeing things. Linebackers are able to flow to things. And to me, that they keep that up, they're going to have a say in their fate in the Big Ten West.
11 a.m. kick on Saturday. ESPN2, right? For Purdue?
Yeah. ESPN2.
Ross-Ade Stadium, hopefully no sinkholes.
No sinkholes. 3-2 Purdue, 1-1 in the Big Ten.
Yep.
Playing probably for the coach's job.
Absolutely.
Every week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, check our stuff out, thegazette.com/sports, and see you next week.